Last class, we talked all about the vegetable group and the important role it plays in good health and having a strong and healthy body. Remember, eating a variety of colors gives your body a variety of vitamins, and hopefully this month you were able to try some new vegetables and be able to practice eating lots of different colors to give your body more nutrients, and hopefully you notice a difference in the way your body is functioning and how it feels. I know when I'm eating the right amount of healthy foods I am feeling much better and having a lot more energy and just feeling a lot healthier. And hopefully you're able to see this too. Today we will be talking about another group from my plate. We have already discussed the vegetable and the fruit group, and today we will be talking about the grain group. And hopefully if you were looking at my table display, you were able to guess the grain group is what we will be talking about today. First, what we will be discussing is the importance of food labels, which can be found on all grain products and really any product that comes in a package. It really is important that you start to notice what these numbers mean and realize that it's a lot less tricky than it at first looks. You can see on a food label that there's lots of numbers, lots of words, and it does look very, very difficult to understand. Today we're going to focus on the ingredients, which is the bottom part of the food label, right underneath all the numbers and confusing things. We will be looking to see what ingredients are in these whole grain products and if it's our healthiest grain choice or our less healthy grain choice. But first, what is a healthy grain choice? Remember, we have talked in the past about the anatomy of a grain kernel. So if I was to take a small piece of wheat and blow it up into a giant picture, this is what it would look like. There are three parts to a piece of wheat, a piece of grain. There is the bran, which is the outside covering. The center is the endosperm, and that's the white starchy part of the grain. And then the small center is the germ. Now the germ and the bran both contain all the vitamins and all the nutrients that come in a whole grain. If you have a refined or an enriched grain, what happens in the milling process is the bran and the germ are removed and the endosperm is turned into flour. So what did you lose along with the bran and the germ? All the nutrients, all the healthy things that give your body the energy it needs to stay healthy and have sustained energy, which keeps you having energy throughout your day. So sometimes if a grain says that it's enriched, that means that vitamins are added back into the endosperm. One negative thing about an enriched grain is there's no fiber, and fiber is very important and found in abundance in the grain group. Fiber is what cleans our body, and we've talked quite a bit about this and how my symbol for fiber is usually a sponge. I like to associate the vision of a sponge with fiber because a sponge cleans things, right? It cleans dishes, it cleans your body in the shower, it can clean a car in a car wash. Sponges are really good at cleaning. The difference between a sponge and fiber, though, is fiber cleans the inside of your body. So if I was to hand you a sponge that was this size, and this size, which one would clean the best? Obviously this one, right? And we can tell how much fiber is in food by looking at the food label. This food label can tell us if we're looking at a grain with this much fiber or this much fiber. Having more fiber in your body will keep you full longer, and it also will keep your body cleaner on the inside, preventing chronic diseases. Even certain types of cancer can be prevented by eating adequate amounts of fiber. So it's super important that you're getting fiber in your body, which is one of the reasons why whole grain is on my plate and why it provides so many nutrients for our bodies. Today we're going to be starting with an experiment. This experiment will help us to identify some minerals that are in the grains that we eat. Today we'll be using a healthy type of cereal, which of course belongs in the grain group, and I also have a really heavy-duty magnet that I bought for this experiment. So we can see on this food label the ingredients, and the first ingredient on this list is whole wheat. So we know that this is a whole grain product, which is also shown on the front of the package that says 100% whole grain flakes. So an important thing to be watching when you're looking for a whole grain is for this symbol. If it says made with or enriched with, that means that a whole grain is added to the product, but it isn't the main ingredient. Another thing that is important about the cereal that is healthy is all the vitamins that are listed. One of them that we'll be testing today is the iron that's in cereal. There's 18 milligrams in one serving, which is 1 cup, which is 100% of your daily value. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing this cereal for iron. And iron is magnetic, so if iron really is in this cereal, we should be able to pick it up with a magnet, right? So I have this very, very heavy duty magnet and some of this cereal that I've crushed up onto a plate. So if I am to wave this magnet over the cereal, I should be able to see pieces of cereal coming onto my magnet, which would be proof of the iron. All right, here we go. Do you see those pieces that are coming to it? So cool, right? So that's proof that there's iron in this cereal. That's what's being magnetic and is hooking to this magnet, is the iron that's in this cereal, which it's not super easy to see. So we're going to be doing it with some cereal that's been crushed up and been sitting in water. So I took about 1 cup of the cereal, crushed it up, stuck it in this bag, and I added about 2 cups of water, and I've just been letting it sit for about 30 minutes. So now when I leave it, run this magnet onto this bag, we'll be able to see little black slivers of iron that is coming out of the cereal. So not only will it hook to the magnet like the cereal we have, it's still on there, but we'll be able to see it in its iron form, okay? So these are just gonna be little black flakes in this cereal mush that is proof of iron in the cereal. All right, here's my magnet. Let's get a good angle of this iron. Okay, watch closely. They're just gonna look like little black slivers. Do you see those? That is iron coming out of the cereal. So cool. Let's see how much we can get. All right, get ready. See all that black right there? That is iron that has come out of the cereal as it's been sitting in the water. So cool. It would be so awesome if you could try different types of cereal. We saw that this type of cereal has a lot of iron, but most cereals have iron enriched into them. So if you could try a couple of different cereals, maybe experiment and see which cereal has the most iron when you do this experiment, and see if it matches up with the, oh, look at all that, with the food label to see which one has the most iron in it. So we were able to see the iron in the cereal, which we can also find on the food label. What other information can we find on the food label related to whole grains? There's lots of information you can get from here, but today let's just focus on the ingredient list. So I'm going to show you a couple of food labels and see if you can guess if they're whole grain, refined grain, or enriched grain. Remember, a whole grain is when all the anatomy or all the parts of the grain are still intact. So it's in its whole natural form, which of course is our healthiest choice and gives our body the most nutrients. So our whole grain means all parts are intact. If we have something that is called refined grain, that means it's been refined or it's been taken apart, and we're left with just the endosperm, or the white, fluffy, starchy part of the grain, which doesn't have any nutrients or fiber in it to give our body what it needs to get from this food group. Enriched grains means that everything's been milled out just like this, and we're left with the endosperm, but then vitamins are added back into this product. So is enriched as healthy as whole grain? Hopefully you're saying no, because a whole grain has all the parts naturally intact as well as fiber, and enriched grains do not have fiber in its natural state in the product. So let's see our first food label and see if you can guess if this is a whole grain, a refined grain, or an enriched grain. What do you think? First ingredient was whole grain, so this should be an easy choice. This was the cereal that we just experimented with for our iron experiment. It has the first ingredient listed as whole grain. So we know that that's the first ingredient. That means it's in the most abundance. The first ingredient on the ingredient list means it's the very most. The last ingredient means the very least. So we're wanting to see our healthier foods, food ingredients at the top of the list. So healthy item here. I will begin by telling you a food from the grain group, and you guess if you think it's a whole grain, an enriched grain, or a refined grain. After you make your guess, I'll show you the food label and you'll be able to tell from reading the food label if this product is a whole grain. Your first thing to guess on is rice. What do you think? Whole grain, refined grain, or enriched grain? Let's check the food label and see if you are correct. Were you right? How about brown rice? What do you think for this? Is it a whole grain, a refined grain, or an enriched grain? Let's see if you're right. Starting to get the hang of it? Let's try Triscuit crackers. Have you had these before? These are one of my favorite snacks. Whole grain, refined, or enriched? What's your guess? Let's see if you're right. Good job, whole grain. Triscuit crackers are great crackers for your body to have lots of nutrients and a good whole grain snack. It has a lot of fiber, which also makes you stay full longer and have sustained energy and not make you have that crash filling, is when you eat refined grains. All right, so your next one is Ritz crackers. Whole, refined, or enriched? What do you think? Let's see if you're right. All right, two more. I'm sure you're doing great. Okay, your next one is popcorn. Is this a whole grain, enriched, or refined grain? Make your guess. Here's your food label. This one's a little trickier. It didn't say grain in it. It also didn't say 100%, but popcorn is in its full form, so it is a whole grain. Sometimes you'll see this on rice packaging. You'll also see this on oat packaging as well. If it just says the grain on its own, you know it's a whole grain if there's no additives. If you see a product that says made with, enriched with, then you know there's whole grains added to your product, but it's not considered a whole grain product. Okay, last one. Let's see how you do. This product is a granola bar. What do you think? Whole grain or not a whole grain? This one was a little trickier. So we did see whole oats were added to this product, so it has whole grains, but what came before it? This was granola bars, by the way. Our first ingredients were roasted peanuts, sugar, corn syrup, whole grain oats. So we have whole grain oats in here, but is it a whole grain product? No, there's more sugar, more corn syrup in this product than actual oats, which tells us it's made with whole grains, but the first primary ingredient is not whole grains, which means it's not our healthiest option. There are definitely healthier granola bars on the market, and that's why reading the food label is so important. Not only does it tell you what's in your food, but it helps you to make healthier choices. It might just seem like a little step, but small steps in the right direction can lead to a healthy life and a healthy body. Let's practice making a healthy snack made with whole grains. This recipe is so easy that my little guest will be great at helping me make this recipe. So today for our whole grain snack, I wanted to show you how simple it was. So I have my 5-year-old here with me. What's your name?
Beckett.
Beckett, and he is going to help us make our snack today and show you how simple it really is and very inexpensive. So all you need to make this recipe is a brown paper sack like you would take to school for lunch, some type of tape, you'll just need a little tiny bit, and then some popcorn kernels. All right. Yeah, tell them how to do it.
So you get 3 scoops of this?
Mm-hmm. And put it in the bag. Very good. How many scoops was that?
3.
3 scoops. And then you're just going to fold over your bag like this and put a piece of tape. Beck, you want to put the tape on?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Put the tape right here. Very good, just like that, and then you're gonna put it in the microwave. And Beckett's gonna help us with something else. So we're gonna set the timer for 2 minutes. How long, Beckett?
2.
2 minutes. All right, Beckett, can you tell the class when is your favorite time to eat popcorn?
On Monday and Tuesday.
On Monday and Tuesday? Nice, why Monday and Tuesday?
Cause when those cold days on Monday and Tuesday, I know that it's sometimes kind of warm, so I just eat it.
Nice, so he likes to eat popcorn on cold days. My favorite time to eat popcorn is when I'm watching a movie. Do you like to do that too? Yeah? Maybe you could tell the class, what is your favorite movie to watch?
Superheroes.
Superhero movies? Do you like to eat popcorn when you watch superhero movies? Yeah? Very good. So today we're making a healthy popcorn, so we're not adding lots of butter and salt, which is typically what they put on popcorn, especially at like movie theaters. So Beckett, what's something you like to put on your popcorn to give it flavor?
Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, Sour Patch Kids. There's another option, not a healthy one. What about a healthy thing you could put on your popcorn?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, good, yeah, cinnamon's a healthy snack that you could put on your popcorn. You could also do like chili powder or oregano or black pepper's really tasty. That's a yummy one too, huh? We've tried lots of different spices, so this is something you could experiment with as well. After you make this popcorn, you can just add some spices to it and it will give it lots of flavor without adding all the unhealthiness. If you do prefer butter and salt, of course that's fine to add that to your popcorn, but you just want to do not as much, because remember, when you're adding lots of unhealthy things to a healthy food, it makes it less healthy and the nutrients aren't as impactful as if you didn't have all that extra added stuff to it. So our popcorn has 7 seconds left and we'll open it up and maybe Beckett could give it a try. So you could try it, Beckett? Yeah? Okay. All right, shake up my bag. And how about we cut it open? Oh man, look at that delicious popcorn. Doesn't that look yummy? Some cinnamon? All right, we're gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on it. There's lots of other spices you could add, or you can just eat it plain. I like to eat it plain. All right, let's sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in there.
Tell them how I like to eat it.
Sure, yeah, tell them.
I like to eat it how? When there's like some candy in it.
Yeah, sometimes adding a little bit of candy in there to make it sweet. All right, so I added some cinnamon in there, shook it up. All right, Beckett, can you taste it and tell us how it tastes?
Good.
Is it hot? A little bit hot? Good, so hopefully Beckett gave you some good advice and you saw how simple and easy this healthy snack was, and you can try it at home and experiment with all kinds of different spices. Up next, we'll talk about what our exercise will be for the day to get outside, get moving, and get your body healthy and strong. For your outdoor activity, you'll be playing a game called Ladders. You'll start by finding a partner and standing in a line. Each line will face each other and you will sit down across from your partner. Your legs will be extended and your feet will be touching, so you're forming what would look like a ladder. The person at the end or the bottom of the ladder, that partnership pops up and will run through the rungs of the ladder, being careful not to step on legs. You'll do 20 jumping jacks, sit down, and then the next people at the end of the line will hop up and do the same. After you've completed this trial run of ladders, if there's time, the class will split into 2 ladders and you'll race to see who completes the ladder first. Try to eat as many whole grains as you can this month, and next month we'll be talking about another My Plate food group. Goodbye.